Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing well tonight. Good to see you on Travel Tips Tuesday. Going to give the Facebook algorithms just a second to sort of do their thing and notify people as we get out there to Facebook in a couple of different places right here on my personal feed, as well as over on the official Travel Tips Tuesday podcast Facebook page, which is the best place to go and kind of find all of these episodes cataloged, the video episodes. That's primarily the main purpose for it. So if people want to find them easily on Facebook, you can go there instead of having to sort through my personal feed. And we're also on YouTube as well, so you can check that out if you want. And we're slowly building up our following there, and eventually we'll start adding some kind of different type special videos and different sort of things other than just the weekly broadcast that we're doing. So thank y'all for hopping on tonight. We've got some really cool stuff to talk about, some memories to share. It's one of my favorite things to do on Travel Tips Tuesday, to kind of take a look back and to see where people were and see where their passion for Disney came from. So let's get into it. All right, here we go. Tonight, this is Travel Tips Tuesday, and it is June the 29th, 2021. Our topic for this evening is don't just travel, make memories. Don't just travel, make memories. Why is Disney such an amazing destination that brings back children and adults time and time again? Disney is not just a destination for kids. I was in a conversation with somebody just the other day where they were like, well, am I going to have fun? Like, my fiance wants to go to Disney on a honeymoon. I'm like, that's just for kids. That's like Mickey Mouse and stuff, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's much more than that. You know, you all know, if you've been listening to me for any length of time, my wife and I honeymooned there on our honeymoon, almost, it's 2021 now. We got married in 2006, so almost 15 years ago. It was an amazing trip. So many really cool things happened during that trip that I'm so thankful for. I know a lot of people that have honeymooned there. There's lots of stuff to do. And it would be great, actually. We can do an episode sometime on Disney World just for adults. We did one kind of in the earlier days of Travel Tips Tuesday, but maybe it's time to revisit that. Another way to kind of look at this question is, why do some families save up for that one trip of a lifetime experience to Walt Disney World? Because not everybody's able to go back time and time again. It's a special place. I know folks that have planned trips to Walt Disney World for people that have never been, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, don't have a lot more days ahead of them to live. And they want to go there to create a super special experience, wonderful memories, and a magical place to remember for the rest of their days. And it's an amazing thing to do. It's a great place to go and do that for sure. But in tonight's episode, we're going to go through some breaking news. We're going to talk about making memories at Disney, not just traveling there, but we're going to go through some breaking news and some updates to dining, and we're going to dig deep down into the magic, kind of the ethos of magic that is Walt Disney World, and memories of our childhood and beyond. One of the questions that I always ask guests, and it's been a while since we've had a guest, and we need to have some on. We had several on this time last year, which was awesome. But one of the things I always ask them is, what is your earliest Disney memory? Because it helps kind of establish a grounding point for a lot of people, sort of where that came from, where that drive to sort of be a Disney fanatic is. And for some people, it's a really cool thing. For some people, those memories are a lot more recent. Sometimes they're funny stories. Sometimes they are just sort of run-of-the-mill things, but sometimes they're more special than that. And we're going to share some of those that folks have shared with us in the main feed. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of toss this on here. There are lots of people that are tuning on. My friend Ian from Texas. Where are we going? Well, Ian, I'm actually going to get to hang out in Walt Disney World with Ian in October for the 50th anniversary. That's going to be fun. My wife is on tonight, so hello. She's hanging out with Kids Camp, and Ian says, "Hi, Tanya." Okay, another haircut video. So, yeah, I'm going to pop this up here. So, no, we're not doing another haircut video, although we're kind of getting close to that pandemic emergency haircut situation soon. So, she says that she's game for that. My buddy David Dollar popped on. He's over at the Main Street Electrical Podcast, a great podcast. If you've never listened to it, please do make sure to subscribe to it. He and his co-host Jen do an amazing job week in and week out covering all things Disney and digging into a lot of the history behind things sometimes. They have some great guests on as well. One of my favorite episodes that they did was one several months back with Yeehaw Bob Jackson, down from who I guess was formerly at Port Orleans Riverside and at Walt Disney World Resort. He was kind of their piano player, and Yeehaw Bob's awesome. Anyway, so go check out David Dollar's podcast. He had some good stuff back there. So yeah, and I'm going to be a guest. Speaking of having guests on, David has invited me to be a guest on their show. So whenever that episode comes out, I make sure to let you all know about that. So our question of the day is this right here. What is your earliest Disney memory? Again, what is your earliest Disney memory? Would love for you to pop that in the comments so I can share that. If not, I will be going back to my personal feed where I asked that earlier. So would love for you to drop that in there. And we're going to get into some of those here in just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and highlight some Disney news to kind of start off tonight. Disney Destinations continues to move back towards some sense of normalcy. And, of course, we have a hard reopening date for Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, which is great. The villas have been open and bungalows have been open for some time now over at the Polynesian kind of resort area, but on July the 19th, the rest of the resort will open up. The check-in desk will move back from the kind of, I think it's the Pongo Pongo House, over to kind of the main area, sort of reimagined area slightly. Like it feels fresh and clean. They haven't done a lot to the main house at the Polynesian Resort, but of course Ohana is reopening. You've got Kona Cafe there, you've got a gift shop. There's all sorts of great things in that area. My favorite sort of hidden gem in that area is the Pineapple Lanai, kind of on the back side of that, right next to the pool, which is one of the only places that I can think of off the top of my head outside of the parks at Walt Disney World that you can get a Dole Whip. And I'm a big fan of the Dole Whip floats, by the way. Great treat. So good stuff from there. Disney also released a lot of information today about some updates to their food offerings. I want to spend a few moments kind of going over those. And if you want to immediately torture yourself and kind of you love good food and maybe you're hungry right now, don't go look at this blog right now because the pictures are pretty great from here. But I want to kind of give you some updates. So a lot of things have been reopening. And a question that I get from time to time is, okay, is it safe to plan a trip? What are the mask mandates? All those kinds of things. Of course, mask or, optional, kind of the Disney and Universal side of things. Some people still do wear them, and that's fine. You're not going to be singled out or whatever for doing that, but things are changing and slowly getting back to normal. And, Disney does not have some cosmic reset button where they can go boop and everything's back to the way it was back in early March of 2020. There have been some changes kind of along the way they're doing things, and they're slowly kind of moving back to what is really a sense of normalcy. And one of the things that they've been doing is reopening dining locations as they've been able to bring back more cast members. Speaking of which, the college program is up and running. They have some of their new housing that they've been moving some of the college program members into in the Flamingo Crossings area, which is really cool. It's fresh, it's beautiful. I was following another kind of a YouTube vlogger out there that's a college program cast member. He sort of walked you through his check-in process and everything. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry if that's you happen to run across this for whatever reason, but it's really awesome kind of seeing that and seeing how Disney's treating them and the fact that they're so excited to be there and helping make that magic. And so college program cast members are a big piece to the pie of getting these things going. So some people are like, well, why isn't this open yet? Why isn't that open yet? Why are things understaffed or whatever? A lot of times it's just manpower, trying to get people to come back to work. And that can be, directly affects staffing restaurants and hotels, of course, and, stores and things like that. But sometimes some of the behind the scenes things that we don't really see or think about are affected by that as well. And Disney has been bringing back more and more people. They've been rehiring not just bringing in college program cast members, but also rehiring standard part-time and full-time and seasonal cast members as well. So a lot of opportunities to there. If you've been dreaming about doing that, definitely check out the Walt Disney Company's Walt Disney World career website, and they can kind of point you in the right direction. So many of us have retirement dreams of doing that someday. Anyway, so let's get back into Disney dining news here. I'm gonna go through this Disney Parks blog article kind of real quickly. I printed it out double-sided because it was like 10 pages long. And anyway, trying to save some trees here. We're so excited to announce guests can now dine underneath the lovely London sky in this newly reimagined Citricos at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, which pays homage to the whimsy and elegance of Mary Poppins Returns. Taking subtle cues from the movie's animated sequence, the dining room brings guests into a fanciful garden setting where they can trip a little light fantastic as they experience the restaurant surrounded by the glow from decorative lamps and chandeliers. So if you like a little bougie restaurant experience, this one is probably for you. I mean, get dressed up in your finest afternoon tea kind of stuff and go there. It's a great environment. Definitely a place, like if you're down there and you're a dad and you've got maybe a little girl like me, I've got an 8 and a 6-year-old. It's like the perfect place to take them on like a daddy-daughter date kind of thing where they can get, kind of dressed up and, you can too. And it's a really cool place. It's great to see that it's coming back, and the theming is excellent. The Grand Floridian Resort and Spa is one of the best places to go on property and stay on property because there are so many different dining options there. Of course, the location is excellent right there, stone's throw from Magic Kingdom, right there on the monorail loop. In the Magic Kingdom kind of monorail loop area as well. So lots of great things to do in the center of property. Great location. Make sure to check it out. Chef Andres Mendoza crafted a new menu with starters like sweet corn bisque with pickle fennel popcorn and fennel oil, and a colorful strawberry salad, which this sounds really good, the strawberry salad, with chamomile-infused goat cheese, frisee lettuce, bacon vinaigrette, and spiced sunflower seeds. Entrees include butter poached Florida cobia with mashed fingerling potatoes. Man, fingerling potatoes, it's just something about those that are good. Grilled asparagus and local mushrooms with grapefruit, Beurre Blanc, etc., etc. So there's a lot of stuff on here. The pictures are great. They've got a few drinks that they've added to the menu as well. Of course, they've added some great desserts in there that you definitely want to check out. Thank you, Chef Andres, for digging down and kind of getting that up and going there. And this one of the more exciting, I guess, updates. Not that Citricos is not exciting. It is. It's very exciting. It's a great place to go and check out, like I was saying. But Yeehaw Trails Inn Restaurant at the campsites at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort will reopen July 17th with hearty family-style skillets for breakfast and dinner. So a lot of the kind of formerly buffet restaurants are sort of transitioning into this family style dining. So for many people, if you ask them, some that I've talked to, podcasters, travel agents, even, just other guests, what are some of the perks of having to kind of shift and kind of come back out of the pandemic season? It's this, taking these buffets and moving them to more of a family style dining. So it's still an all you care to eat. The menu's been modified and kind of, maybe condensed a little bit, but it's a service thing. So you have people bringing the food to you instead of having to get up, walk over, the characters are still coming to you if it's happens to be character dining, that kind of thing. And Trails Inn is definitely a place that you want to check out. I did see earlier where my friend Tim Elrod at Travelmation did post that the fried chicken at Trails Inn is not coming back, but maybe there will be a noodle revolt, kind of like there was for Ohana, and they'll bring that back. So who knows? So if you want fried chicken, if you like the fried chicken at Trails Inn, make your voice heard. Start a hashtag, trend something. I'll join you. I'll be there. Anyway, so guests can mosey on over to Fort Wilderness to start their morning with an oven-fresh pastry basket and berry granola yogurt parfait. That sounds really good right now, by the way. Followed by a hearty family-style skillet with smoked brisket. Man, smoked brisket for breakfast. Yes, thank you. If you've never, this is not a Disney thing, but if you've never stopped at a Buc-ee's convenience store, 125 gas pumps, convenience store. If you're a Texan, you know what Buc-ee's is, and you've never had one of their breakfast brisket burritos, you're missing out. Brisket and breakfast just kind of go together, and Trails End does it well, where they have their smoked brisket and eggs, bacon, sausage, and cheesy potato casserole. Whew, that's good stuff. Of course, no breakfast is complete without a Mickey waffles. Adults can sip on moonshine morning cocktails, a Pioneer mimosa with passion orange and guava juices, and a Mountain Mary with moonshine. So lots of really delicious stuff there to check out. That sounds great. I've always heard good things about Trails End. I've never been there myself. The Fort Wilderness Resort area is on my Disney bucket list to stay. So, that's one of the things I try and do is familiarize myself with resorts that I've never had the chance to stay at. So I do have my favorite ones. Absolutely big fan of Beach Club. As far as values go, I like RV Animation. I like Pop Century. As far as moderates go, I love the Port Orleans resorts. But, there are some like the Fort Wilderness Resort area that I've never stayed at. So anyway, moving onward, but guests should be sure to save room for Covered Wagon Sundae, a wagon load of ice cream toppings, brownies, cookies, and chocolate-covered bacon. Ooh, that's just a good thing. Chocolate-covered bacon. Yep, just check that box right there. Adults can even kit back as well with a few things of their own. But here is the piece de resistance for those of you that love your plastic cheese, corn dog nuggets, and chili cheese dogs. Guests can now get ready to hit their craving for hot dogs out of the park. Casey's Corner on Main Street, USA is reopening as of June 30th, which is tomorrow, with their classic all-beef hot dogs. Catch hold of chili cheese all-beef hot dog or dig into a pile of corn dog nuggets with, of course, the cheese sauce, a.k.a. plastic cheese, and the plant-based. It's just a joke. It's good cheese sauce. I like it. And the plant-based loaded slaw dog with plant-based sausage and topped with pickled slaw and a number of other things they've got there. So, and don't forget, mobile ordering will be available at Casey's Corner. Casey's Corner also is one of my favorite places just because of the location, where it is. So oftentimes, like if I'm taking a break during the day, I might mosey on through some of the stores along Main Street. It's sort of like kind of centrally located. Like you don't have to go all the way down Main Street to the front of the park to get it. Like if you're headed over to Tomorrowland or around the hub or whatever, you can pop over to Casey's for a bit and grab a quick bite. But it's a great place to kind of refill your water bottles. So if you don't mind the taste of Florida tap water, which personally I don't, there are some people that just drives them nuts and they bring filters and different things for their water bottles. I don't. I just bring a kind of a little Arctic, I think it's like an 18, 20 ounce kind of vacuum sealed one of those stainless water bottles. Refill those, and I'll go by a place like Casey's and grab a complimentary cup of ice water and fill it up, and it'll stay cold all day. So travel tip for you there. Most quick service restaurants will offer you, I would say all quick service restaurants on property should offer you complimentary ice water should you need that. You don't, want to get it from a water fountain or whatever. So definitely check that out. Also, there's some sweet treats that are coming back as well. Guests can get ready to treat themselves to hand-scooped ice cream at the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, hosted by Edie's. So if you like Edie's ice cream, you need a sweet treat, definitely a great place to drop by. Also, some other sweet news, and hopefully my wife is still watching this. Let me see if she is. I'm not sure if she is or not, but sorry. So let me back up for a second. Ian says Florida tap water is gross. It's not the best. It's not the best, but it'll do in a pinch, I guess. I've had worse. I'll put it that way. So anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. So this is a shout out from my wife here. She's a big fan of root beer floats, and she's specifically a big fan of Barks root beer. Well, about to make all her dreams come true here. Barks root beer floats and Coca-Cola floats are back. So there you go. You can get your root beer floats on Main Street right there. So lots of other things that's coming back as well. Just kind of going through the list here. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, here we go. This actually is pretty neat. And there's a new summer offering for the entire family. that is going to start tomorrow. It's the Disney Family Night Dinner. This is a playful family-style dining bundle that includes a takeout shareable meal, sweet treats, an original card-type game inspired by some favorite Disney friends for guests to enjoy. Disney Family Night Dinners are available from 5 to 10 p.m. through mobile order at the 2 resort locations, offering this 3-course takeaway meal that serves 3 to 4. The 2 places that offer this experience, and this will be neat to see this, because this is a new thing. I think Disney is trying something out here. And then the 2 places where you can catch this is at the Centertown Market at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, also at Gasparilla Island Grill at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. So, and at these 2 different places, the menus are not the same. I'm going to kind of give you a rundown for each of these locations for this new family night dinner experience. From the Centertown Market at Disney's Caribbean Beach, you have access to kind of themed based on the resort, access to roast Jamaican-style chicken, jerk chicken, good stuff, fried yuca, cilantro rice, seasonal vegetables, Caribbean pull-apart rolls with onion jam and guava butter, and then decorate your own Mickey and Minnie cookies. So this sounds like a pretty cool experience. So if you want something for the whole family, maybe you can kind of take it back to your room or chill out wherever. This is a great option for you. Also over at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, for their family night dinner package, they include the garden salad with tomato, cucumber, carrots, and a duo of dressings, savory lasagna, 3-cheese lasagna with tomato sauce, 2 Mickey-shaped cheese or pepperoni pizzas, mini cheesecake with strawberry sauce, whipped cream, and fresh berries. So if you're not hungry, you should be. I know I am right now. So second breakfast. So yeah, going back to great Lord of the Rings reference there. Yeah, definitely second breakfast. There's always room for more. So my buddy Jess Watson, who's a cast member at Magic Kingdom, he says howdy from Magic Kingdom. I'm guessing, Jess, that you're there right now, so that's pretty awesome, man. And he says he's living his dream working here. I know he has a vacation coming up soon where he's going to be heading home. But Jess, thank you for and Jess, by the way, he's been one of the ones, and he pops on from time to time. And he's been doing this for, I think, 11, 13 years, something like that. He's full-time at Magic Kingdom, done a number of different things at some of the different parks. Been there as a college program cast member, a part-time person, and kind of everything in between, and is now full-time, and has been there through the heart of the pandemic, and has been doing a great job kind of spreading magic as he can. I've seen that. I've experienced that with my own family, with him there, and it's not, it's just something he does. So he's one of the good ones, and Disney has recognized that, and he's doing an awesome job at what he does. So if you ever pop by Fantasyland or Frontierland or Adventureland, you kind of see Jess hanging out. Jess from Fort Payne, Alabama. Say hey to him. He's an awesome guy. Really, really cool dude. So yeah. My friend Ian says, I feel like it's best to give up all concepts of meals while at Disney. I think this is a fair point. So Ian's a bit of a foodie himself, and he's basically right. So Disney is one of those places that you can go and you can find, you may have to look a little bit, but you can probably find pretty much anything for any sort of sweet tooth or even allergy or whatever. I mean, there's going to be something on property somewhere. They have hundreds of different restaurant options between everything from their popcorn carts all the way up to, 4 Diamond award-winning restaurants. So lots of great places to have a bite and create some awesome memories while you're at it. Speaking of which, let's get back to our conversation for tonight. I love kind of giving you some sort of Disney news up front to kind of update you on some things, where things are at. But let's dial it in. So our conversation, this is going to be super quick. This won't be long, but I think this is important to think about. And again, our focus for tonight is this idea of not just traveling, but making memories. And our question of the day is this right here. What is your earliest Disney memory? What is your earliest Disney memory? When I ask this, I'm not talking about theme parks. It could be having a stuffed animal. It could be your first encounter with Mickey Mouse. It could be watching Mouseketeers. It could be, your first Disney movie or a piece of merchandise, clothes, jammies that you wore when you were a baby. I don't know. Any of those kinds of things like that. So just kind of be rolling these things. I'm going to leave this up here for a second because I want to go through some of your responses here in just a minute. I want to give you all some time to kind of think about that and drop your responses in the comments. Some of you have already been doing that. But as you do that, as you think about that, I want you to think about this right here. Our desire for travel is often birthed out of this idea that there's more out there. There's more to experience. There has to be sometimes, right? Especially maybe when we're desperate and we're seeking for some sort of kind of hope in life. But there's this sort of inner curiosity in a lot of us that there's more out there. There's more to see. There are other cultures. We read about them in history books. We read blogs and watch vlogs and National Geographic and all the things, right? So there's more out there to see. It's not just about theme parks. It's about other cultures. It's about understanding kind of the world and the way different people do things and live life. And that's one of the reasons why I love travel, is meeting new people in new places that I've never been. It's been a long time since I've been to a new place, and I hope to kind of get back to some of that in the coming years. But as I do that, as I relive some of those memories of visiting some of those places for the first time, it kind of brings back sort of emotion and kind of connection with childhood memories and even family experiences and all those sorts of things. But anyway, life gets more complicated as you grow up. So some of our childhood memories, those are kind of fun things to kind of look back and think about, and they're fun, but life gets more complicated. Eventually, some of us start stacking up this thing called vacation time, which our employers give us as an incentive. You're like, oh, wow, I get 6 weeks of vacation time at this job I'm going into. That's amazing. I'm going to use all of it. And, as we talked about several weeks ago, people tend to stack up their vacation time and not use it. I know people that have finished a career in a particular field and had not just like weeks or months of vacation time stacked up, but years of vacation time. These organizations give you vacation time to use it for a reason. You need it to refresh. We're not made to go on the go every minute, every second, and every day. When we take time to rest, when we take time to step back and refuel ourselves, often we are more productive. And that starts with setting boundaries, which I'm not always the best at, but setting boundaries can definitely help. So sometimes it's, we think about vacation time. We've got to use it. We got to figure out, okay, well, how's this going to mesh and work? Maybe you're a parent and you've got kids that are in school, so your options are basically summer break. Okay, there's that. Fall break, if they get one. Some schools do, some schools don't. The kind of the Thanksgiving time frame, which is sometimes fall break for people. The winter break time frame, and then spring break, and that's about it. So you're locked into that. But a lot of people, they have, work things came up and life throws curveballs and all these different things. And the vacation time just stacks up. And next thing you know, you're just kind of checking the boxes and doing all the things that you've got to do. But you're never really relaxing. You're never really stepping back. You're never really unplugging when you need to. And when I say all this stuff, by the way, I'm not just like speaking to you out there in podcast land or Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are. I'm saying this to me too, because, I'm a dad of 4 kids. I have 2 different jobs, both of which that I love, both of which I'm very passionate about. And I'm just as guilty about not setting healthy boundaries and going all the time. So, I try to think about, okay, when can we plan this and that and those sorts of things. And this idea that we travel to recharge, but also to make memories, just starts to get lost. So when I say this right here, don't just travel, make memories. Again, I'm saying that to myself. We need to shift our mindset from, I need to use this vacation time, to, I need to go make some memories. I need to go make some memories so that I can have something to hold on to when life just deals me some nasty lemons. Or I need to make some memories just to have fun, because I'm overworked. I'm not saying that specifically about myself, though. I've felt like that sometimes. Maybe you do. But sometimes you just need to go make some memories. Do something fun. Do something spontaneous. Do something unplanned. Maybe it's not Disney. Maybe it's just a trip to the mountains or the beach, or go explore some small town that you've never been to, or whatever it is. I don't know. Go do something and just refuel. Because this was posted on a Travel Nation post. I think it was either today or yesterday. I can't remember. And it referred to this idea of making memories in the margins. You may have heard this term before, where it's not so much about the destination, but it's about the journey. Well, that's what we're talking about. The journey to get there and then the journey home. you're making memories in that process. Unexpected things happen with traveling sometimes. Sometimes when you're going to do a specific thing at a destination, be it Disney or Universal or a cruise or whatever, and things happen while you're there that are unplanned. It's not about the big shows or the attractions or the dining. It's the little things that happen in between that are unexpected. And we've had those experiences myself, but I want to kind of go to some of y'all to see some others that you all have shared. And I want to kind of dial back again. Our question of the day is this right here. What is your earliest Disney memory? And a few comments for you. So Charles says, and I'm going split screen here, so I've got to move a couple of things. Here we go. I was a Disney child. Sunday nights, we always watched the weekly Disney show. So to actually go to Walt Disney World after it opened was magical. That's amazing. I love that so much. And that's something that like people from even my generation, I was born in 81, so 10 years after Walt Disney World opened, it's like we were born into like Walt Disney World already exists. It's definitely grown since then and changed, but to kind of be able to experience that, it was pretty neat. For me, I guess the closest thing I came to was going to Disneyland Park in California. My friend David Dollar says this: earliest Disney memory, visiting Magic Kingdom in 1982. They were building Epcot. I was 7 and thought that the entire park was in that big silver ball and thought that was pretty cool. Now, that's pretty awesome. I could see that. Spaceship Earth, a.k.a. the giant golf ball, silver ball, whatever we're calling it these days, is pretty large. But that's pretty amazing. So let's see if anybody else has any comments here, and it's beautiful. I'm not sure what she's referring to, but yeah. Anyway, so there are. Let's see here. There we go. So there's some other comments I'm going to kind of go to on my personal page. So again, what is your earliest Disney memory? Nate says, and I'm just going to kind of chop off last names since I don't have their permission from this, just to kind of give you first names only. But Figment was mentioned. Kimberly says, funny story. This is really funny. This is a funny story. Funny story. I was in 4th grade, obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. I was all dressed up in Winnie the Pooh apparel, hat, shirt, socks, backpack. We were in Epcot, and a cast member walked up to me and goes, "Oh, you're all covered in poo." But wish I had some sound effects there, but I don't. Anyway, so Charles says, mine, I do. He actually sent me a message recently where he had visited a preview center for Walt Disney World that was in Florida, and even got to ride a section of the monorail before the whole thing was actually opened, which was really neat. This was like in 1970. Walt Disney World opened the following year, and that was pretty neat. Allison says Space Mountain at age 11. Mackenzie says, I have so many. I probably remember the earliest was when I went to Disneyland when I was 4 and riding the cars and seeing Toontown. I bet that was pretty amazing. Tim says about 6:45 a.m. Well played, sir. Well played indeed. Amanda says character breakfast at the Polynesian before it was Ohana. Ohana is not always Ohana, if you didn't know that. Dale the Chipmunk spoon. Dale the Chipmunk spoon fed me some bites. It was 1991, so that's pretty neat. Laura says her earliest memory was riding Dumbo with her dad, the pink Dumbo to be specific. I was extremely excited that she got to ride on the one with the pink out of all the available Dumbos. So that's pretty neat. Joshua C. Pies, who is my first guest on Travel Tips Tuesday, says this: I didn't get a vacation of any kind until he was 23. My earliest Disney memories were reruns of the black and white Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and stories from my grandparents about how they were Mouseketeers when they were kids too. 1930s Laugh-O-Gram era. That is classic. Keith says, Sunday night at my grandparents' house watching The Wonderful World of Disney. Jen says, my papa shouting, look, there's no... This is funny. My papa shouting, look, there's Nancy Kerrigan. So, famous ice skater from years ago. Look, there's Nancy Kerrigan, and creating a mob back in 93. I'm assuming at Walt Disney World. And then as well as It's a Small World, breaking down and being stuck on that ride for way too long. So that's pretty funny. And I replied back, I actually know somebody who, whenever I used to play, and I used to do this because I guess I wasn't a nice person then. I'm not sure why, but I used to play It's a Small World because it drove this person nuts and they would immediately start crying. It was kind of funny, but it really wasn't, a little bit. Jen also says she had this super creepy looking Mickey that would read a bedtime story to you. I remember those. If you do, that would be awesome to kind of hear that. Katie says, crying my eyes out at Haunted Mansion. Had to get off early. Hope says, was 5 the first time she went to Disney and remember meeting the characters where you just patiently waited your turn. It was great. It was fine. Bambi, Cinderella. And then Jess says, my buddy Jess Watson, he says earlier, he commented this right here, living my dream working here. And he actually said earlier saying I was going to work there since he was 2. So, man, the guy's persistent, has an amazing drive. And it's so cool to see that realized and happening and making some magic these days for some folks. Leslie says, watching the water parade from the window at the Contemporary just before going to sleep. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Susan says, Tom Sawyer's Island. Let's see who else we got on here. Ian, who's been on tonight, commenting, got a rifle from the Pirates of the Caribbean when I was 6, except we were also on our way to Hong Kong, so the uncle we were visiting kept it. Never saw that rifle again, though decades later I was told it was still in his basement. Still haven't seen that rifle again. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Oh, I miss that attraction. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea too. Man, I love that ride. My mom was slightly claustrophobic, so she hated it, but I loved it. Charles also commented on here as well. Let me kind of move my screen back over as we do that. Here we go. Charles also said, I also got to go to Epcot the first year it was open. I was fascinated to ride inside the big silver ball. It was full of all sorts of Jetson-like futuristic stuff, much of which has now come true. A group of we teenagers were at Space Mountain. This is also Charles. One morning, right as the park opened, no one was much there, so we kept looping around and went about 8 straight times. That's pretty cool. I think the only ride that I've ever done that on was one year I went to Disney's Animal Kingdom Park, and we went on Expedition Everest. It went on like 4 times in a row, just like didn't get off, just kept on going through and through and through because there was like nobody in line because it had rained and the park had cleared out, but then it reopened and there was still nobody there. So anyway, so lots of amazing memories. Thank you all for sharing that stuff with us and kind of giving us a glimpse into kind of where you are. A lot of those memories started from very simple childhood experiences. They weren't only, or childhood dreams as the case may be. They weren't only like just, parks memories, obviously. And a lot of us kind of connect back to these earlier years and not just like something we dreamed of doing necessarily, but of people that we were with and wanting to create those things. And those are fond things that we want to look back on. And that's one of the things that like I think about when I help people plan trips. I think about the importance of that and what that means and how those experiences, hopefully that these families that I'm working with will be able to have and make. Like there's a couple I know that's at Walt Disney World right now that I've worked with that are they're on their honeymoon and they're having an amazing time, which is awesome. And remember also, again, I was saying this earlier, that the memories are made in the margins. It's not always about the who. It's not always about the destination. It's not necessarily even the what. It's typically about the why. It's about those moments in the margins with the why, with the people that matter most to you that are there with you. Look for those in-between moments. Those moments from point A to point B. Those moments as you're walking out of an attraction, as you're moving forward to your next one. Don't just check things off a list as you go. If you're used to traveling like one specific way, maybe you have a super detailed itinerary down to the minute and second, like I did when we were on some family trips as kids. If you're used to traveling that way, just throw that in the trash. Just go and do what's next. If you're used to just going willy-nilly and you just kind of do whatever, maybe create a schedule. Maybe there's a way for you to maximize your trip as you go next time. But again, at the end of the day, it's important you remember to create memories. Take tons of pictures. Take tons of video. Don't just be on social media the whole time. Maybe you're used to constantly like posting your Instagram stories and Facebook stories and Snapchatting and TikTok and Reels, all these different things. It's fun for people to follow along, and I do that when I go. But maybe at least take a day. Leave your phone in the room. Buy Memory Maker, $169 covers you for the length of your trip, and use that. Use that to capture that day. Leave your phone in your room and do as much as you can without that, and just focus on what's going on around you. It'll give you a different experience. It'll give you a different experience for sure. Don't just depend on time hop or social media. Be intentional about capturing those memories somehow. Journal them. Like, journaling is a lost art, but journal about your trip. Right? Have a hard copy of some way to return to these things. Maybe you create a photo album, Shutterfly, a bunch of different places. Like, I'm not sponsored by like Shutterfly or whatever, but there are a bunch of different places online like that where you can create these little sort of photo books. Maybe you get one for each of your trips. You give it to people for Christmas presents or Hanukkah or birthday presents or whatever. Point being, at the end of the day, you never know when you're going to need those memories. There will be moments that pop up when, again, you go through challenging times, and those memories come back. They're great conversations around family trips. Around when you come back from vacation. So, what'd you do while you were on like Christmas break, or what'd you do when over spring break with your family? They make great conversation pieces, and talk about them, get them out there. It's great. They're great things to relive, experience time and time again. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's conversation. This has been a lot of fun to kind of go through all this with all of you. Thank you so much to everyone that has popped on tonight. This has been a great time to kind of hang out with you all and go through a topic that I think is really important. Don't just travel, but make memories. Do something exciting, right? Maybe not just the way you're used to, or putting something on your itinerary that's new and different. But maybe plan differently. Let somebody else be in charge of the trip. Might drive you crazy. That's okay. But it'll give you a different experience. And maybe you'll do something that you wouldn't have otherwise. So thank you all so much again for joining me. I know this is kind of closing up the second time here. I'm never good at outros. I just being transparent on that. But I do appreciate you guys hopping on to YouTube and Facebook and out there in podcast land, as we kind of hopped over 6,000 downloads recently, which is kind of fun. So make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. If you've got any questions about travel planning, please look me up, John Rogers at travelmation.net. Feel free to message me on Facebook and let me know how I could help. I don't charge any planning fees, and it will be my honor to come alongside you and your family, those you hold most dear, and help you make some amazing memories. Thank you all so much. We hope to see you next week. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.